Hello everybody, this is Yotso again from Yotso Tech Tracks YouTube channel. Today I wanted to show you an update on my 2016 Ram 1500 camping / overlanding vehicle build. This is something I'm working on in my spare time, and I'm going to show you right now my setup for my roof rack, ladder rack, canoe rack setup I've put together so far. Some of this are items I've purchased online, while the rest of it is metal I've used to fabricate the rest of it. Let me grab a small ladder and give you a better view from the roof. Excuse the shakiness of the video. It is a little bit slippery outside, and I'm trying to hold the camera while trying to step up on a slippery ladder. The base of this setup is a Thule track rack designed for this vehicle. I went with this rack out of all the racks I've looked at because I wanted something that I can also use a tonneau cover as well as a roof rack setup. I was looking for a roll-up tonneau cover, something that I can roll up out of the way if I need to put large items in the back. I don't limit myself to a heavy, hard tonneau cover, which I would have to remove. This setup works for me so far, as I can use this vehicle for work or play. If I need to move larger objects, I just roll up this cover and I still have plenty of headroom underneath this rack. This rack is adjustable fore and aft on these rails, as you can see here. I don't need the adjustability myself, so I have permanently locked it into this position. The front and rear bars are basically the Thule rack bars, and the middle parts I have fabricated myself, mostly out of aluminum C-channel. I prefer using aluminum as it is easier for me to machine, cut, bend, manipulate, and it doesn't rust. I usually leave the aluminum raw. I never paint them, and so far, over many years of working with this material, I've found it to be my favorite. Let me climb the ladder and show you a little bit better view from the top. This measures about 70 inches from one side to the other, and there is almost an 8x4 sheet of checker plate aluminum, 1/8 thick. The reason I went with that one, I am partially trying to enclose the roof to keep some of the snow, ice, and a canoe. Perhaps in the near future I'm going to be mounting it lengthwise, probably a 14 to 16 foot canoe, and I prefer to keep some of that dirt and rocks that come with the canoes. When I throw it up on the boat on the car, I don't want all that debris to fall on the tonneau cover and on top of the painted roof. I'm going to be filling in the sides to block it in a little bit more, as this is the material I have available to me. I have adjusters that I cannot use anymore because they slide on these rails side to side, but I don't need them because either this vehicle will get a rooftop tent or a canoe, or I'm going to make brackets that allow me to remove one and easily install another. I'm still going to use these tie downs on these four corners at least, because they go right to the structural Thule track rack, and this rack is rated for quite a lot of weight. Even though it's aluminum as opposed to some of the steel ones, it is fairly highly rated. On the passenger side, I am working on a do-it-yourself awning. This is just a fold-out awning. It is measured 12 feet long, and it comes out about 10 feet wide. It goes right from the back of the cab, right from the back of the bed, all the way to pretty much the rear view mirrors on the side. So when I unfold this, I use poles and straps or bungees to tie it down, and this provides plenty of shade Mostly used for shade, not too much for water, but if it does rain outside, it's also a nice place to be underneath. It is over 6 feet tall currently, and plenty of headroom underneath. In this bag, I might have mentioned this in previous videos, I use traction boards. These are just Amazon no-name brand traction boards I use to level out my trailer, which you might see in the background. That is a homemade trailer. I'll be making a whole bunch of videos about that. This also is good for if you're in loose surfaces. There's a pair of traction boards here. They measure about a feet wide by about 4 feet long. They're placed underneath the tires to give traction in loose surfaces such as beaches, mud, sand, and those are in this storage bag on the passenger side. I prefer to keep all my items out of the elements, as I like to keep everything as a nice shape as possible. In Canada, where I live, in the winter time, chemicals are on the road. In the summertime, the UV damages these plastic boards inside, and this way these will live a long happy life. Traveling to the driver's side, I mentioned this in previous videos. I'll show you again. This is the base starting point for an outdoor shower. This is not a finished product. This is just for testing purposes. 12-volt pump, filters, and shower head. And the suction side goes into the bed, into plastic jerry cans. If I have warm water, it's instant hot water. If not, if I only have cold water available to me from freshwater sources or even taps, it's going to be heated through a propane instant outdoor shower heater. In the near future, I'll be purchasing one of those. The driver's side of this rack is symmetrical to the passenger side. It's mostly C-channel. I'm shaking it for you a little bit. It is very sturdy. This setup doesn't vibrate, shake. I've managed to make it as light as possible without losing structural integrity. Traveling along the roof, I have a couple of spotlights, amber spotlights for late night camping. If I get into places that's completely dark, let me turn it on for you quickly to show you. I have all my auxiliary switches mounted here underneath the driver's seat. I believe this one, the first one, is my camp light setup for around the bed. I have 4 lights on one switch. These lights are pretty bright in the darkness. They illuminate the surroundings almost to daytime levels. My second switch is going to be the amber lights. These are a combination of a spot and a floodlight, and they do travel far, but these are off-road lights only. I do not use these on the road, just in dark campgrounds or fire trails where I need to see more where I'm going. My third switch is an auxiliary cooling fan I've placed on this vehicle. I'll be going into the electrical side pretty soon. It's mounted underneath behind the grill. You might be able to hear the noise. Let me switch it off. All of these switch panels are powered by an auxiliary battery, which I am using, and that battery is charged from the alternator through, I believe, a CTEK 250S battery charger. I'll give details about that. I'll show you further videos about the electrical, as I said, in upcoming videos. The fourth switch, is an air compressor mounted inside the bed. I chose to go in bed mounting because I want to keep some of the noise away from the cabin area of the vehicle. The roof rack bars I'm using are Rhino Rack bars. I like these bars. The only problem I had with them, the feet that clamp onto the roof of the vehicle are the black ones you might see in the picture. They weren't doing a good enough job for me to keep on the vehicle, they had a tendency to lift out. So I've made in the four corners stainless steel brackets that go underneath the weather stripping, and they clamp onto the pinch weld in the vehicle. All they do is keep these little brackets from sliding off. They don't hold the weight down, they just keep the black brackets, which are designed from Rhino-Rack, from coming off. I've never had a problem with this. I've already strapped some weight up there, and so far so good. I hope they hold up, and I will keep you updated on those as well. This storage bag I talked about in previous videos. I'll quickly mention it again. This houses aluminum poles that I use for the passenger side awning, or I'm going to be using these poles for the outdoor shower setup on the driver's side. So I'll be able to use those for either side. Okay, I guess that's it for now. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more videos like this coming up. Thank you and goodbye.